I think the biggest thing that I take away is that it's a disappointing loss. But I really like the guys in our locker room, and I'm looking forward to working with them the next time we're together to work. Because they're trying to play the right way. We really got swallowed up by that small lineup that they put out on the floor, and at the same time, you know, it's like I told them in there, you force the hand of the best team in the league to play it.
I mean, they're definitely a playoff contender in the East. You know, that's a good basketball team. I think Isaiah really helps that team out a lot. Obviously, you know, I think, you know, Jonas after 5 gives them a completely different look. You know, I think Sully being out that definitely hurts. You know, but with those couple additions, I think that's good for them.
We're back for part 2 here. We've got Kyle Draper in the house with us. Now we're going to talk about Isaiah Thomas. So he has scored 20 points in every game except for one where he had 19. And of course there was that first game where he got ejected with a few minutes left. Imagine how many points he would have had in that one. So he's been phenomenal. He's completely changed this team. Draymond Green even told us after the game that he's revitalized the Celtics, and that's a word we've kind of been using with regarding him. So what are you seeing out of Isaiah Thomas that has made this team so much better offensively?
No, I just think Isaiah Thomas, when he comes here to Boston, Brad Stevens is, all right, Isaiah, you do your thing. You're running the show. When Isaiah is out there, it's like there's constant movement, constant energy. And I was talking to somebody earlier about this. I think if Isaiah Thomas was 6'3" and doing the things he does, he would not energize the team as much. I think a lot of people, you know, they see the smallest guy on the floor go in with those trees, get and ones, get layups, and I think that feeds everybody. I mean, this Garden crowd loves seeing that guy, you know, at work. I think what he also gives this team, which they haven't had all season long, is a guy that if he's 0 for 20, come fourth quarter, you still expect him to hit big shots. They didn't have that. You know, Evan Turner has hit some big shots, but I think Isaiah Thomas even more so. Fourth quarter, I mean, he's the leading scorer in fourth quarter points this season. It's his time. You know, against Golden State, it didn't happen for him, but he gives them that which they hadn't had.
That's interesting that you think that his height or lack of height is actually an advantage, because that's the first time I've heard that. Right,
except against Golden State, because Golden State, you know, did a great job defensively on him.
They did.
Putting Livingston on him, the longer guy.
And they've seen a lot more of him out in the West.
Out west.
Phoenix and
they
Sacramento.
backed off him a little bit, let Livingston with the long arms still be able to challenge shots. But you saw him in the first half against Golden State. He was getting to the hole, getting, you know, layups and other people involved too.
And you know, when you started saying that, I thought you were going to say if he was 6'3", he'd be this unbelievable
player.
I
thought he was going too.
You faked us out a little bit, but I mean, the point you're really making here is that every single shot that he hits looks remarkable.
Right.
Because he's so small.
Right.
He hits the deck a lot.
Right.
And as we've seen with Dwayne Wade and Rondo, you got to worry about guys that keep hitting the deck. It's going to catch up to you. But every single play he makes takes an unbelievable amount of effort to pull off, and every single finish that he has is has an incredible degree of difficulty, which inspiring wise is great. Actually getting the basket wise, as we're seeing where he went 8 for 21 tonight, that could be a bit of an issue. And he only shot 3 for 11 from deep, and that length was an issue.
Yeah, that
guys closing out on him can really hurt him.
Yeah, and I think he had maybe 1 or 2 of those 3-pointers blocked, you know, little tips there by Livingston. And so that's the thing about Isaiah. It's you know, there will be nights like this where, you know what, the shots aren't falling, teams figure him out. And that's why I think his best position is coming off the bench. A lot of people are tweeting, how come Isaiah isn't starting? No, I like his change of pace. You know, you bring him in as the energizer guy. Look at it. He still puts up, you know, more shots than anybody off the bench. I mean, and so.
In such little minutes.
Yeah, and
almost 29 minutes.
So I like the role they have him in with this team right now.
And the thing is, Marcus's defense is almost as impactful as Isaiah's offense. It's made a huge difference in the first half of this game. But I think almost every game we've had to talk about how great Smart's pressure on the perimeter ruins and disrupts the offensive system for the other team.
Yeah, not only that, and reading the passing lanes. I mean, he caused the steal. I think it was on Steph Curry, you know, late in the game. It's just, he's so smart defensively. His instincts defensively are something we haven't seen here. And Avery Bradley's that same way. But Avery Bradley, I think, is more a hounding defender, whereas Smart is like a very intelligent defender as well.
And he's able to switch. He's able to kind of know when to stick tight to guys and when to play the lane, kind of like a pseudo zone type of defender. He really, I mean, Julian, he kind of has all the components you need to be a great defender.
He does. I mean, we've been talking about it all season, and the Bradley and Smart backcourt together what it's going to do. And, you know, guys that we talked to in opposing locker rooms have complimented them. Ty Lawson, I remember specifically, was saying how great they are defensively together and pressuring the ball, getting the ball up court. And Ty Lawson is one of the best guys at getting the ball up court. So what we've seen from them has been great. They did, you know, Steph Curry had a great game. He's a great player. He's the hardest guy potentially to stop in the league, and they couldn't do it. But if you look, you know, Klay Thompson, 2 of 10 from downtown. Marcus spent a lot of time on him. So, you know, he has his ups and downs. He's learning, and tonight was a great test for him.
All right, let's quickly revisit the late game before we move on to the award ceremony here. So the Celtics only scored 15 points in the fourth quarter compared to 38 in the first quarter. There's a bit of a difference there. And we saw that, one, it was Curry was shooting lights out. They weren't able to get in transition like they were able to earlier. But Draymond Green's impact defensively is unbelievable. And he told us after the game, as you saw on the top of the episode here, that he wants to be Defensive Player of the Year. And he, while he wasn't as kind of standing out tonight, he's shown that his versatility, his ability to play any role on the floor defensively, allows them to win so often, because even though he's not an amazing low post defender, he gets it done and he prevents shots, he prevents attacks near the rim.
And he, you know, they did a lot of switching, you know, with Draymond at the 5. You know, when Isaiah Thomas came off screens, Draymond stepped out and was guarding him for a time.
And he talked about that after the game, how he told his teammates when Thomas is coming off a pick, let him come to me, don't help, I'll take care of it.
Exactly, and I was talking with Brian Scalabrine, who was on the show with me, and he says Jay Crowder is our Draymond Green. Like, can Jay Crowder develop into the Draymond Green? Draymond a better three-point shooting, but he sees, you know, some similarities between those two guys.
Well, you're seeing Crowder was doing a lot of switching tonight too, and Stevens likes to be able to switch with Crowder. Crowder gets caught a little bit when he goes against point guards, and that's been the big thing with Green, is that Green allows them to switch on every pick and roll. And switching, if you can switch on pick and rolls, you're never going to get beat by the ball handler. And they're just about the only team in the league that can do it with all 5 guys on the floor. Cleveland probably being the other team that will be able to do it once they kind of get more comfortable with their defensive system and their roster. But I mean, you're seeing the value of continuity with this Golden State team. They've been together now for a few years, and they've really figured each other out.
Yeah, and Draymond's going to get paid from somebody.
Get paid.
Yeah, and it's messed up too, because he fits so perfectly with what Golden State is doing right now. I wonder though, when you talk about Draymond Green, can he thrive in a different system without Klay and Steph there? Can he be a number 2 guy instead of a number 3 or 4 guy, which he is right now?
That's going to be one of the big questions this offseason, and that's going to be something that I'm sure Danny Ainge and Mike Zarin are going to be thinking about.
Right.
I think everybody in the league's going to be thinking about that. You look at Butler, Leonard, all 3 of those guys, all guys that you wonder, will they be able to fit with other teams? Certainly looks like Butler will be able to. Leonard, we don't really know. We don't. I mean, you don't want to deprive Greg Popovich of having his Kawhi Leonard as a basketball fan. So hopefully he doesn't go anywhere. Okay, so let's finish the show up. Baller of the night will be second. First, let's start with your stat of the night, Drapes. Boxing out time.
Well, my stat of the night is turnovers. Believe it or not, the Celtics only had 8 turnovers. Not a lot, right? But they only had 3 in the first 3 quarters. They had 5 turnovers in that fourth quarter, and I thought offensively, you know, they just didn't get into their stuff, and that was big.
They fell apart. For me, I have circled the number 17 for Jay Crowder. That is important because that is his career high in rebounds, which he had tonight. He was incredible on the glass. It is also his field goal attempts tonight. He only connected on 4 of those 17. Got to clean up a little bit there. He was great on one end, not so great on the other end. We'll see what Drake Crowder can become. We were just talking about him potentially a Draymond Green type player.
Dude, they were putting it up in this game. Look,
if
Jay Crowder has 17 shots, wow.
109 shots.
So 109 shots is actually the highest of the season for them. So that's my stat of the night. 109. Wow. They've only taken 100 field goal attempts twice in the season. The pace is really going off the charts, especially now that Thomas is here. They push it on every possession. They get shots off quicker now because really just their offense is better now, so they're not really kind of falling back on the second and third options as much as they used to. And so for me, baller of the night, we got to give it to Crowder just because of the way he played on the Celtics side. But Steph Curry was out of this world.
Steph Curry's the unanimous baller of the night.
Right, so, I think we all agree on that.
Yeah, okay. Know? Anybody you want to throw out some extra ones?
Well, let me throw out Brandon Bass. I thought he played big, especially in that third quarter and parts of the fourth quarter, you know, just taking it to the rim, throwing down those big-time dunks. I thought he looked good out there tonight.
I'll throw Evan Turner in there, I guess, just for the beginning of the game. He really, if we're stopping the game at that 26-point lead, Evan Turner was fantastic. He was looking at another triple-double. He had his first one of the season Wednesday night against the Knicks. Evan Turner was huge in getting them out to that lead. After that, not so much, but he had a great stretch of basketball at one point tonight.
We'll have to do another episode where we just stop the game at the 26-point
Right,
lead and
exactly.
just break it down from that point forward. Okay, so for Julian Edlow, for Kyle Draper, I'm Jared Weiss. We want to remind you that lynda.com and Peak Organic Brewing are our sponsors on the show. They are both incredible companies, so go check them out. Julian, Drapes.
All right, thanks for
absolute
having me
pleasure
on,
having you on the
boys.
show, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to do this again soon before the season wraps
over.
up,
That's
which
good.
could be over in early
What,
April, or it could be
April?
early
Oh,
June. Could be early June. Who
getting
knows this
interesting.
to you?
Oh,
So yeah,
June's
that's
pushing
it for
it.
the Garden Report. Peace out, guys.